Alright, so there's a couple of things that will help you segue into Code Geass Season 3. Some of this stuff may be super obvious for some people, and for others it may be like a whole new experience. So this isn't really part of the list, but the first thing that you should be doing, or if you haven't already done, is go watch Code Geass Season 1 and Season 2. Because I'm going to be talking about a bit of spoilers, and if you don't want to get spoiled, I recommend leaving now. So the first thing that I guess is kind of on everyone's mind at this point, because we're getting another season, almost 9 years later, I believe, is how the fuck is Lelouch still alive, and is he immortal? So I'm going to try and explain this briefly. I don't want to really go into super detail, but this involves three different characters, obviously. Lelouch, who has the Geass power, Cece, who has the ability to give people a Geass power, as well as having a thing called the Code, which makes her immortal, and Charles, who also has a code, which means he is immortal. Now, how this works, right? Cece gave the Geass power to Lelouch. Now, Lelouch used the Geass power throughout the series, and if you use it profoundly and really well and become strong enough, you will activate the Geass power in both eyes. Now, when this happens, which happens in, I believe, mid-season 2 to Lelouch, you have the ability to kill an immortal. So technically, what's, I guess, meant to happen is Lelouch is meant to come back to Cece and kill her and take her immortality, take her code, basically. Now, obviously, that didn't happen, because at the end of season 2, we see Cece on the back of a carriage with someone driving it, which a lot of us believe that it's Lelouch driving it, and she's perfectly okay. So the only other explanation for this to be, I guess, somewhat possible, unless there's like an inner description that we do not know about the Geass and code powers in general, like there's more to it that we don't know, is the fact that Charles is the person that Lelouch killed to gain immortality of. Now, another thing is when a Geass user actually acquires the code, which is the immortality from someone else, they actually lose the Geass power they had. So now that Lelouch is immortal, he's no longer a quote-unquote Geass user. He can no longer use his ability to manipulate or hypnotize people, whatever you want to call it, control people. But in return, he is fully immortal. He cannot die, unless a Geass user that's strong enough can kill him. Theoretically, because none of this has been confirmed, we have to wait till season 3 for a legitimate confirmation on how Lelouch is still alive. Kind of the only explanation right now that people have is the fact that Lelouch killed Charles and took his code, his immortality, mid-season 2, and when Lelouch became kind of like the king, you know, on his throne and everything, he had Suzaku come in dressed as Zero, stab him, and obviously Lelouch disappeared from that. He didn't actually die because he was immortal. He wanted to escape, obviously, and he did with Cece. So Cece is immortal still, and now Lelouch is also immortal. That's kind of like the only real explanation people have for the many years that season 2 has been ended for. I'm sure you've most likely heard it before, so I'm very excited to see what season 3 has to offer when it comes to how Lelouch survived season 2, and, you know, is he immortal now, and how is he immortal, and everything along the sorts. So now the second thing is relating to, I guess, the story of season 3. You know, what's it going to be about? There hasn't really been much information leaked about the third season and what it could follow, basically. However, I would warn you guys to not expect it to be anything like season 1 and season 2. Now, season 1 and season 2 followed a very massive war, basically, a very big, heavy political war, and they mixed in the Geass powers. Now that season 3 is taking place 7 years later, I feel like it would be a little bit odd for, you know, Lelouch to come back into the story and trying to uphold another revolution again, and to try and make it another political war 7 years later. So I don't expect it to be anything like season 1 or season 2. For me, I feel like exploring the Geass powers a lot more would be really cool, meeting a lot of new Geass users and more immortal people, and just see how much of a fuckery can actually happen when all these immortal people meet and all these really powerful Geass users kind of maybe crowd together in one place. Who knows? So expect it to be completely different. So I would say don't have high expectations for season 3, especially because the company itself, right, that's obviously done season 1 and season 2, waited almost 8 years to continue this story, obviously. So I don't want to put words in the studio's mouth, but if anything, this is just one big business move instead of like story integrity, if that makes sense. You know, the fact that Code Geass has become so popular over the years that it's been ended, now they're bringing a season 3, almost 9 years later, I believe. It feels like it's just for that cash grab, and I think what made Code Geass really respectable in the community is the fact that it had a really solid ending that people, I guess for the most part, really enjoyed. You know, they left it a little bit open for interpretation, but they kind of closed it off, you know, semi-well, and a lot of people really liked it. I just hope they don't destroy the integrity of the story. I understand they're most likely doing this for money for the most part because of how popular it's become, but I'm hoping that they keep the Code Geass legacy and not destroy it, which I really don't want to see happen. Now, the third and final thing is actually its release date. For the most part, we don't really have one. If anything, I would guess guess sometime in 2018, that's probably the best I could give you. Probably mid 2018, I'd want to say. If we're lucky, maybe even early, but I am not sure. There hasn't been anything released. I think there was like a teaser trailer, like a very bare teaser trailer. It was nothing, I don't think. So they did mention that Lelouch is returning as our main character. Obviously, if you guys didn't know, it's called Lelouch of the Resurrection, or Resurrection of Lelouch, basically. They did mention that Suzaku is going to be main cast as well. I'm not entirely sure, as well as Karen, as well as Cece. I mean, there's a couple of people confirmed there that obviously going to make their reappearance, which is really good. The story takes place 7 years after the second season, so obviously a bit of time has taken place. And yeah, I'm not entirely sure when we should expect season 3. You know, my fingers are crossed for 2018 sometime, maybe mid to late 2018. Who knows? I'm not entirely sure. I can't really give it a date, but I mean, for the most part, I'm excited. I feel like I've got it in my head that it's going to be completely different to the other seasons, which I guess is a given. I mean, they could potentially do another political war, but I feel like it would be a little bit weird. So maybe if they had like a political war, but like both sides were mixed with Geass users, you know, it was more of like a power war, if that makes sense, for different Geass users and different immortals and whatnot. So I think that'd be pretty interesting. The fact that both Suzaku and Corinne are in there, hopefully they play a massive role on Lelouch. Suzaku was like the counterpart to Lelouch. He played a very big role in season 1 and season 2, obviously. So seeing that those characters are coming back, you know, I believe are going to be the main cast. I feel like we're going to have a story where we jump between two different timetables, if that makes sense, or not timetables, but two different spots, two different places. We'll jump with Suzaku and Karen, and then on the other hand, we'll jump to Lelouch and Cece and kind of like jump back and forth and see empires built or something. Who the fuck knows? So for the most part, I'm excited for season 3, but I want to know what you guys think. Are you excited for season 3? Are you a little bit nervous, a little bit worried that they're going to ruin it? Because I know Code Geass has a pretty big legacy behind it right now. So in saying that, let me know what you think. But with that being said, I'm actually going to end the video here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.